Okay. Let's run a few scenarios. What if I told you to grab your stuff and leave? No, like, seriously. Right now, I want you to get up, grab whatever you can carry, and leave your house. Or better yet, I'm flying you out to Tulum or Maldives. You wouldn't hesitate. Actually, you'd probably be packed and out the door, no questions asked, before I could even tell you what airline you were on. And spoiler alert, if I'm paying, oh, it's Spirit. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, now what if God said the same thing, but instead, he didn't tell you where you were going? One, would you be able to keep that same energy and be ready to go? And two, is where he's asking you to go going to be just as comfortable as where you're at now? Well, today we're going to get into it. Welcome to episode 1 of the God Know What He Doing podcast. What's up, everybody? My name is Jaquel, and welcome to the God Know What He Doing podcast. God Know What He Doing, or GKWHD if you're in the acronyms, is a place to discuss faith, love, laughter, and common struggles we face every day. I don't know where this journey is going to take us, but that's not for me to worry about right now. So sit back and don't stress, because regardless of what it looks like, God know what He doing. Hello. Welcome to the first episode. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is I'm nervous. I don't know why. I'm like sitting here in my apartment, just me. But I don't know. I think there's been so much anticipation for me like finally doing this that it's here. Like it's here. It's right in front of me, and I'm finally doing it. So forgive me if I stutter. I'm not gonna, do too much editing or anything like that. I'm for the most part just gonna go live, as I say, as I think it, kind of think about whatever it is I'm thinking about, I'm just gonna say. And I got some guiding scripts here that I'm gonna try and go off of to kind of keep me focused. But for the most part, it's just thoughts that I'm having and some things I want to talk about. So anyway, God know what He doing. So let's see, where'd that come from. Let's start there. So back growing up, so I grew up in upstate New York, Capital District area. Childhood friend of mine and we kind of had crushes on each other, right? We went to the same church, had a crush on each other, and we just kind of always hang out, always joke, and talk about a bunch of using songs to kind of, I don't know, tell each other how we felt, I guess, because we didn't know how to be, mature and talk about it. I remember one time my mom was up in New York visiting, and she was taking some photos of us. She was like, "Look at you two." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Nothing. God know what He doing." She's like, "What are you talking about?" And so that was kind of like a thing that kind of stuck. It went from being just a funny saying, to looking back at different points of our lives. We ended up, dating and then separating, and then, dating again and then separating, to just being friends at this point. But every time that something would happen, or we get back in each other's life, or something, just kind of coincidental would happen, we just, God know what He doing. This ain't a coincidence. God know what He doing. And I remember at one point, while we were dating, it was like, oh man, I got this vision that, God know what He doing. Yo, that could be like a podcast, that could be like both of us sitting there talking about all these different things about God and life and love and this and that. And eventually it just kind of the idea never really took off. It never really did anything. I remember back in 2021, I want to say December, I wrote it down in the notes app. And I just wrote down, God know what He doing, LLC. I had no idea why I wrote it. It didn't even make sense to me, but I wrote it down. And earlier this year, kind of going through some stuff and kind of reflecting on, this year, the past year, and, just different things that have been going on in my life. I went back to those notes and it stood out like a sore thumb. Like, this is it. And I was like, but why? I thought that was I thought that was dead though. Like, I thought that was like a thing for like if we were dating. And he was like, I never said that. You said that. You said that. I never said that. I said that this was something I placed this on your heart. You said it was going to be a couples thing. I never said that. So I need you to dust it off and pick this back up. And so ever since then, back in March, it's been just nonstop. I got the formation of LLC, formation of an entity as an LLC. I got the LLC done, business bank accounts open and trade names and all that. So, hey, we'll see where this is going to lead. But one thing I know for sure was that, a podcast or a platform in which I could share, just my testimony, the things that I'm going through and just kind of like everyday struggles, like, everything that, was said in the intro, that's what this is. So. The first question, right? What if you were told, to pack your stuff and just leave a place you were comfortable, and God told you to do this, but you did not know where the destination was. You did not know where the final place that he was telling you to be was. Like, just go. Could you do that? And the story, the main thing that comes to mind with this is something that I personally have been going through, something that I have constantly been challenged with over the last few years, multiple different times. And each and every time, I don't want to. I just don't want to do it. I don't know if you can relate, but like there are times when like I know what I should be doing, and I know that it'll be good for me if I did it because I knew the side effects, or no, I knew the benefits down the line. I know that eating spinach and working out is good for me, but I don't really want to do that every day. Some days I just want to have cookies and ice cream at 2:00 in the morning. Don't judge me. You got your thing too. Okay. So we don't need that. We can just put the judgment back in a little pocket right there. But sometimes I don't want to do it. Sometimes I'll look right there at the food that I made that is from the food that I bought earlier that day, and I'll still get on the app and order Uber Eats. Yet again, do not judge me. Don't come for me right now, okay? All that to say, there are times when I know that God wants something better for me, but because I don't really want to, or because I'm nervous about what it's going to look like, or because I'm nervous about whether it's going to hurt or it's going to be uncomfortable, I don't do it and I hesitate. I'll get to that in a second though. But the initial portion of being able to just take what he said, take the promise that he's given you, and just go. Are you able to do that? Well, that's the question that got posed to Abram. Now, some know him as Abraham, right? That was what his name became later on. God changed it. But who we're talking about is Abram. He came from a polytheistic culture, right? They worship multiple gods. If they needed rain, they call out to the rain god. They needed food, the food god. Different things they needed, they had different gods for it. So at this point that I'm about to talk about, we're talking from the New Living Translation version of the Bible. We got Genesis chapter 12 verses 1-3. At this point, Abraham's like 70 something years old. He's known this polytheistic lifestyle of multiple gods, and he gets told by, God, our God, right? The Lord. It says, the Lord said to Abram, leave your native country, your relatives and your family, your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. First off, what? Like, if I'm being real, I would probably be like, God, hold up. First off, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? Go to the land that you will show me? What are you talking about? I've been here. I'm 75 years old. You telling me to go where you want me to go? What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. I'm comfortable here. This is all I know. We got our family, our fortune, everything we know is here. I can only imagine in that moment, like, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, just like I said in, the intro, like, would you be able to go to this, that, and the third? I'm taking you out here to the Maldives and all that. You flying out, you getting flew out to a Caribbean island or wherever vacation spot you want to go. You'd be easy to go because you know where the destination is, right? You know that where you're at right now, you know the level of comfort you have, and you know the destination that you're going to is more comfortable. You know, the destination you're going to has more for you, at least in your mind from your understanding. But when God's going to Abram, he doesn't give him the luxury of knowing where he's going. He just says, go to the land that I will show you. At that point already, a lot of us would have been like, no, I'm not doing it. Not at all. But then he goes on to continue and he says, I will make you a great nation. Well, hold on, God. Okay, now he could have led with that. Like, make me a great nation. All right, yes, continue. Go on. He says, I will bless you and make you famous. A lot of people already would have stopped right there. That's all they needed to hear, right? You mean my followers about to go up? Okay, bet. Let's do this. How many subs on YouTube? Oh, yeah, let's do it. So he says, I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you. So it kind of gives him insight to what he's doing, right? He doesn't tell him where he's going, but he kind of tells him what the result of where he's going is, right? What the result of his obedience is. And so a lot of times I feel as though, and maybe you can relate to this, I just want to know, right? I just want to know what's going on. I just want to know that this is you, God. Like I want to do the right thing, right? I want to do what you want me to do. I want to do what pleases you. But like, can you just tell me where we going though? Like, can you just give me, I don't mind doing it, but can you just tell me? But at the same time, when you get that clarity, what's the point of faith at that point, right? If you can see where you're going, it doesn't take faith. It doesn't take faith to walk into something that you clearly see right in front of you. And that's what it requires, right? It requires faith. So it's a struggle that we have to kind of get through. Like, do we believe and trust God enough to be able to believe that he knows what he's doing, right? That he knows the plans that he has for us, right? That's a big struggle that I have. So back in 2020, I had a situation, I had roommates where I did not know what to do. The roommates were moving out. I didn't know how to pay the rent. Like, I didn't have enough at the time, or so I thought. And so I'm like, man, I got to pay, $1,400 by myself. I was splitting this 3 ways. What do you want me to do? And as I was praying about it, fasting about it, it was just like, go. Leave the apartment that I was in. And I was tempted to stay in that apartment or in that apartment complex because I knew the price. I knew what was comfortable. I knew what I thought at the time I could afford. When he was trying to get me out of my comfort zone, he was trying to get me in a position where he could set up his later blessings, right? His plans are plans to prosper us, right? Plans for a future and for a hope. It's never for our ill will, right? He doesn't do things in ill will towards us. Now, things may happen to us, but those things, all things will be used for good, right? All things work together for good for those who love God and are the called according to his purpose. That's Romans 8:28. And so these situations, we have to trust that he has our best intention, right? And that all that he's doing, he'll get the glory and honor from. He doesn't get the glory and honor from me staying in a position where I can afford the rent. He doesn't get glory and honor from a situation where I see clearly what's going on. But now when it's a situation where I have no idea how I'm going to pay rent in a totally different place, that I don't even know where I'm going, that's where he gets glory. That's where he gets honor. How did you do that? How are you able to afford that? It ain't me, it's God. It ain't me, it's God. So now that brings me to the second part of the question, which is how do we know that where he's calling me to be and where he's calling us to move is going to be, as comfortable as where I'm at. Well, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. If you're looking for like the guaranteed black and white, this is the answer, I may not be able to give you the answer to that. Actually, I know I can't give you the answer to that. That's between you and God, right? I can say this though. Very rarely do we find growth in spaces where we're comfortable. Growth, change, maturity, it usually comes with growing pains. That's what they call it, right? That's where the term comes from, growing pains. It's uncomfortable because you're changing. If you stayed stagnant, if you stayed the same, there's no maturity growing. There's no maturity happening there. So yeah, when you question, is where God's calling me to be gonna be as comfortable as where I'm at now? Do I want to be able to risk where He's telling me to go? Do I want to risk my comfort? You may have to do that. It's not easy. It's not at all easy. You'll go through times where, like me getting out last year of the Navy. I didn't mention this, I guess. So yeah, I was in the Navy. I was in for about 10 years. That's a comfortable position. I mean, anyone who's ever been, you don't even have to be in the service, but anyone who's done anything for 10 years, you're doing the same thing. It's pretty comfortable. So I'm in the Navy for almost 10 years to now looking for a job. And that's a difficult choice to make, but I felt that was the call that He had for me. Was it comfortable? Not at all. It was not comfortable. It was not a comfortable transition. Going from having 20 days left in the Navy, not having a job lined up, the rent is now about $400 more than it was when I first moved in. I'm getting parking tickets every other day because I'm not paying the extra $300 just to park inside the building. So I'm parking on the street. Like it was rough. It was uncomfortable, but it needed to happen because of where He needed me to be. He needed me to be here in the city. Because if I wasn't in the city, I wouldn't be able to take some of the jobs and opportunities that were afforded to me so that He can get glory from my photography, or so that I can introduce people to, some networks or people that I had in my life and change their lives. Like there's so many different things that's bigger than us, right? So yeah, you're going to be uncomfortable. Simple as that. That's a given. But the question you have to ask is, am I willing to give up the comfort of the known to experience the blessings of the unknown? Do I trust God knows enough of what He's doing to give me the desires of my heart, to do what's best for me at the end of the day? So yeah, I encourage you, man. I really encourage you, if you're going through this, and I'm speaking heavily to myself. I'll say this right now: a lot of the things that I say or that I talk about will probably be live. Like right now, I have not looked at the script in a minute, but a lot of the things I talk about would be things that, yes, I'm saying it out loud, to you guys, and I hope that it can resonate with you and that you can pick something up from it. But a lot of it, I'm speaking to me and where I'm at in my life. If I'm gonna be 100% transparent, I'm at a position where I don't feel like I'm supposed to be at the job that I'm at right now. I don't even know if I should be saying this right now. I don't know who's gonna be listening, but I don't feel as though I should be at the job I'm at right now. I feel like I should be moving on and doing something different. I truly believe that I should be focusing more on this, right? This podcast, my photography business, and everything that entails. But if I'm being real, taking it full circle, He's calling. He's calling me to do something very uncomfortable. It's extremely uncomfortable to know, hey, these are my monthly expenses and this is how much I make. And I know that I can make it, I can make it decent, comfortably with the job that I have. But to quit this job or move on from this job and to rely solely on my business, well, I've seen the numbers my business has been making for the first 2 months of it being formed, and that's not enough right now, based on my understanding. But again, as I keep saying, and as it keeps going full circle, that's what this is about, right? Regardless of what it looks like, God know what he's doing. And if he's calling me to do that, and he's calling me to make that step, if he calls me to something, if he calls you to something, he's not going to let you fail. He's not going to let you fail. He's not going to let you fail. I'm going to say it one more time. He is not going to let you fail. If he calls you to do something, you can trust that he's got you. You can trust that he's got you. And you know what? And it's like a GPS. It's like a GPS. He is calling you towards something, and maybe you misheard the turn. Maybe you thought you were supposed to make a left, but it said make a right. Hey, you made a left. That's fine. But just like a GPS, it redirects. Okay, you know what? Hey, I said make a right, but you made a left. So don't worry about it. It's going to take a little longer, but I know what I'm doing. I got you. And I honor, hey, thank you for taking that step. Thank you for having the faith to make that turn. Thank you for seeking me in that decision and going through with it anyway. It's cool. Let's go. Hey, I got you. He's a loving father. He's a loving father, and he will always have our best interests at heart. I don't know if you've ever heard that. I don't know who's told you that, and I'm not sure what your background is or what your experience has been with God. I hope it's a relational one. And if not, hopefully this can open your eyes or open your heart to receive and see that he is a relational God, that he is someone that you can call on, you can talk to, even in your quiet times, you know, out loud, under your breath, whatever. He's always there. He's always listening. So that concludes the very first episode of the God Know What He Doing podcast. Yeah, that's it. It's done. Oh man, hope that you're encouraged, you know, to take that step. You know, I got some things I got to think about, especially don't be scared. Just trust him. He's got you. And like I said, I'm speaking to myself. I'm definitely speaking to myself. It is scary, but that is the point. Like, if he calls you to do it, like I said earlier, he's got you. So yeah, I hope you guys stay encouraged, and thank you for tuning in. Hey, thank you so much for chilling with me. Hopefully you heard something that resonated with you and where you are in life. I hope that you walk away from this encouraged, inspired, and refreshed. If you want to add your thoughts or just continue the conversation, I encourage you to leave a comment on the show. And while you're there, feel free to leave a review and also share this with someone you think may find value from it. If you want to keep up with the latest, be sure to follow on Instagram. That's GKWHD LLC. Thank you again for listening, and I'll meet you guys in the next one. Peace.